Hello, everyone. Welcome on back. It's Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. It's the #1 tennis betting podcast and YouTube show with myself, Nigel Seeley, and our senior ATP Tour handicapper. It's Sean Calvert, brought to you from association with Bet Rivers, your hometown sportsbook. Sean, good afternoon, mate.
Good afternoon.
Not a great day today, has it really been? I mean, it was a struggle yesterday going through the bets, and today doesn't look even much better, really, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't help when they start so late in Montpellier. They don't even start till what, 2:30 in the afternoon on the main court and slightly earlier on the outside court. I've watched quite a bit of tennis today actually, but the the quality hasn't been great. There's been an awful lot of moaning going on, which I found quite interesting.
Ah, it's
Um,
common denominator.
on the outside court particularly, there's all sorts been going on there. Pretty much everyone smashed the racket. They've had supervisors called out. There's all sorts been going on there. But as far as the scheduling is concerned, it's difficult because they play 7 p.m. match and they play a match after that, and then the winner of that is on the next day generally. So it's kind of too late for us to record a show, but too early for the next day, if you know what I mean. So it's a kind of an awkward timing. Normally when we've got these ATP 250s, there's two or three being played concurrently, aren't there? But so we can always normally find matches, but with one, we're kind of beholden to their schedule, which is not ideal.
It's good to see you. Anything else
It's
happening
like I only
today?
saw you yesterday.
Well, I know, but it's good to see you. It's good to check in. Anything else happened? Anything weird or wonderful happened today in the world of Calvert? No,
Uh,
anything? No,
no,
nothing to propose.
I've just been watching tennis. Anything come through? Well, what have you done?
I just thought, no. I don't know. I just wondered, like, you might have got a letter, you might
Um,
have had a problem with the water board or something like,
feels
parking
like
ticket
you're
or
going to
something. Just
send me something. I should be worried about it, but
Sean, listen, I'm not. I've told you that the t-shirts are being worked on. I will let you know
okay.
when they come. I'm not going to. No, that's not yet. I'll let you know before you go to Indian Wells. The t-shirts will be there. But
Okay.
no, I just wondered if there's anything happened, or usually like dentist appointments or.
Nah, there's not much going on at the minute. I mean, I've watched an awful lot of tennis today. I've still got it on that screen now. Watching Gael Monfils against Caboli, which feels like it's been at 3-3 for about half an hour. So the one thing that is interesting actually about Montpellier, it doesn't look very quick, does it? I've just
No,
noticed that they're playing. Well, I noticed earlier on today that they're playing with head ATP balls, which are pretty slow. I think that's got a lot to do with it. It doesn't look the quickest. As I say, Monfils has been playing this game now for absolutely ages. So it looks like it's going to be a bit of a grind in Montpellier.
I quite like Kaboli to win this match, and I saw that Zapata Morales won the first set as well. We sort of lent towards him as a,
It
and
kind of went the way that we sort of suggested, a load of breaks and break all the way to a tiebreak. That didn't actually happen in the first set. I'm not sure what the score is in the second. Lestienne was winning at one stage, but let's have a look.
it's
Uh,
one set or lessons a break up in set number three.
yeah, so
He's heavy
yeah, it's
favourite. He's heavy
kind
favourite.
of as we sort of suggested. I also suggested Lestienne 2-1, didn't I? So anyone that
Yeah.
would have taken that advice would hopefully, by the time this show finishes, might end up with a nice price winner.
We can't talk
And
about.
Cazaux's going well, isn't he?
Well, that was we're going to come on to him. He's one of the matches we're going to talk about today. A great performance, a young player that is moving in the right direction. And
He
he's through. He's
certainly
got a
is.
tough match today, isn't he? He's got a tough match tomorrow against Felix, but
Mm.
looking good.
Yeah, looking great. Looked too good actually. He was too good for my set one overs. He did his part, but unfortunately, Maximilian Marta started his match against Cazaux yesterday really, really bad. I think he lost the first 10 points in a row, which is never what you want when you're on a set one over. So, guy losing the first two and a half games without even registering a point. But never mind. I'd rather it went that way than Marta winning 10 points in a row. But Cazaux's looking like he's going to back up that form that he showed in Australia, which was so impressive.
You don't want a goal scored in 22 seconds like I did yesterday for my under pick either.
And what was that, Sheffield?
Sheffield United, Crystal Palace, a goal in 22 seconds absolutely ruined me. But anyway, that's my moan. That's my little moan. And the other thing I've got to moan about is my local pubs put the seller price up by 60p. 60p. Can you believe that? It's a dollar,
What's that,
dollar by
about
dollar.
10% or something? No,
Yeah, not far
about
off.
10%.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that. We're going to boycott. Me and
I'm
the
sure
me,
you could talk to the landlord. Do you know him?
yeah, but me and the lads are boycotting it. I'm not going there.
Is there another alternative, or do you have to walk about 4 miles for
Yeah,
it?
we have to go a long, long way, but it's out of principle. We're not going. We're
So
not
you're going to get a taxi further out the way. It's going to cost you more than the.
principle,
Okay,
principle,
fair.
principle.
Well, you could go a long way on principle.
Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at the tennis action tomorrow. This is the event in the ATP Tour 250 event in Montpellier, as Sean said there. We have three matches we're going to talk about. Before we're going to talk about the matches, Sean, you mentioned there the conditions. You thought it was a little bit slower today. Is that sort of in your thought process for the matches tomorrow?
Yes and no. Yes, it's something to look at because these head ATP balls, as I said, they're not the quickest. It's the problem is with these tournaments, they never really tell you what balls they're using. Some of the websites, particularly the 250s, are not very good. I mean, they're not there to give people that are betting information. Obviously, they're there to promote the tournament and all the rest of it. But I have ways of discovering what balls they're using, and they're using the head ATP ones, which are a bit slow. So it's something that punters should certainly bear in mind because um, if unless you've got two massive servers, I should think there's going to be quite a few breaks using these balls. There certainly was today. That match again, which we'll talk about later, Shevchenko, he was in a real grind out on the second court. And I think that the head ATP balls have got something to do with it. Yeah.
How do you find out about the balls? You said you have ways of finding out. Well, how do you find out?
I have numerous ways. The way I found out about this one, because I hadn't noticed. Normally, you can see when on the changeover, you can normally see what balls they're using. There's like a Dunlop ball bin, if you want to call it that, or a head one, or whatever. You can normally see it lurking about, but if you can't, I can't. I'm just looking at the screen now. I can't really see it on.
I thought you had ways of getting into the ball manufacturers, and I didn't think you was actually looking at the telly and
the
putting it
easiest
on
way
freeze and looking at the ball.
No, the easiest way is to go to Getty Images and look at still images that they've put up of the event. You might have to scroll through about 30 or 40 of them before you see a photo of a guy or a girl, a guy in this instance, holding two or three tennis balls.
Don't say what you say.
Tennis balls,
okay, yeah.
As they're about to serve, and generally, and that will show you the manufacturer and the brand and the type of ball. That's the way to do it if you don't get the information from elsewhere, and that's what led me to the head ATP balls discovery. This is how far I go.
This is the lengths. I was just about to say this is the lengths you have to go to.
I don't mess
You're watching, going through Getty Images. You're watching television, putting on freeze, looking at players' balls. I mean, this is unbelievable, Sean. What you're doing here for the team.
You have to go.
You wouldn't catch me looking at any of the tennis players' balls. I'll tell you that's for sure.
Well, you don't need to because I do it for you. So
exactly.
That's where we're at. That's the kind of level of research I do for this show.
Unbelievable. Anyway, let's move on tomorrow, and we have some matches. 6:30 a.m. Eastern time is the matches start in Montpellier tomorrow. Unfortunately, we only have three matches again because the games are being played, as Sean said at the top of the show. There, the timing isn't ideal for us, but we have three matches, and we can start off with the number one seed. And Sean mentioned that the number one seed in this tournament has a really bad record. His number one seed this week is Holger Rune. He's up against Pablo. Is it Llamas?
Llamas, I would say in Spanish. Llamas Ruiz.
I need your help on it. Pablo Llamas Ruiz. I don't know anything about this Spaniard. He's ranked 156 in the world. Holger Rune is obviously the number 7 in the world. We all know about Holger Rune. I think really we need to know a little bit more about the Spaniard here, Llamas. The odds are minus 715 for Holger Rune, so a very, very heavy favourite. $715 to win $100. Llamas is plus 510. The spread is 5.5. Rune minus 5.5 plus 128. Llamas plus 5.5, sorry, is minus 167. And the total here is 20.5. If we look at their recent records, we all know that Rune got beat by Cazaux in the Australian Open. And Llamas has come through 2 qualifying matches in Montpellier. And he also beat Richard Gasquet in straight sets, which was not, you wouldn't think that was a big feat to beat Richard Gasquet at this stage of his career, but beating him in Montpellier is a big achievement because the French do so well here. So we don't know much about Llamas. Give us a little bit about the unseeded Spaniard in this match.
Yeah, so he's 21 years of age, quite a young guy. Llamas, 6'2", quite a big guy. Pretty decent serve, not bad overall. Pretty solid generally. His backhand is quite a nice shot to look at. Haven't seen that much of him. He's only played 5 career matches on indoor hard at all levels. Very few main level matches as well. But the win over Gasquet will be something that he'll be extremely pleased with. It wasn't a very good Gasquet, in all honesty. Gasquet should have won the first set, failed, and he faded away as he tends to do sometimes these days. Gasquet at the very end of his career. As you'd expect, Ruiz plays mainly on clay. 77% of his career matches have been played on clay, so limited record on indoor hard. But I think this is more about Holger Rune, really. I'm not 100% sure what's going on with him. In case people don't know, he's split with yet another coach
I saw that this
yesterday.
morning.
Severin Luthi, who people will probably remember, was the coach of Roger Federer for some time. He only joined in December, did Severin Luthi, and the ever present Holger Rune's mum, whose name I forget.
Mrs. Rune.
Yeah, Mrs. Rune. Can't remember her Christian name, unfortunately. The reason she stated about them splitting after only 2 months was that Luthi couldn't travel often enough with Rune. You know, you would have thought that they'd have talked about that before they set up a coaching arrangement, wouldn't you? You would have thought that they said, "Well, can you do, I need you to travel this amount of time," and he's gone, "Yeah" or "No," and they've gone ahead with it, and now they've gone, "Actually, no, I can't travel that much at all." It seems a bit weird. That might be an excuse because he is developing a bit of a reputation, isn't he, as a player that's just going through coaches, like nobody's business. So now he's only with Boris Becker and Kenneth Carlson, or his two coaches. As I speak, by the end of this show, there might be something different, but that's where we're at the minute. The thing about Rune is his hard court stats in the last 12 months are not really worthy of the odds that he's being put in at. If we look at what he's done in the last 12 months at main level on hard courts, indoor and outdoor combined, service points won and return points won total of 100, and a service hold and break total of 101. Now that's all right, but it's not top 10 worthy. It's much below that, really. It's kind of top 20, top 30. It's not befitting of a guy who's got ideas of winning the Grand Slam. So I find this price a little bit short based on the statistics, but I'm not sure what I'm going to get from Llamas on the other side of the net. I think if you are looking to get with Holger Rune in some way in this match, I imagine he'll probably win it somewhat like 6-4, 6-3, something like that. So there is a way you could back him to win by that sort of score, which is by backing the total player games. Holger Rune's total player games under 12.5 games is a minus 112, 1.89 chance of Bet Rivers. So he's got to win sort of six something to collect that bet. It's perhaps not my sort of bet, but if you are looking for a way to get with Holger Rune in a match that he really should be winning, that's probably the way I would do it.
I think what we're doing here, Sean, is just trying to find a bet for the sake of trying to find a bet, really, to give some advice. I mean, we're looking at Holger Rune. We wouldn't bet him on minus 715. We understand there's problems here, but I think sometimes it's probably best to be swerve a match like this. I just believe we don't know much about Llamas. We know Holger Rune, what he's about, 715, but you have a look at those markets there. There's 28 different markets available Bet Rivers on this match here, but on a 250 event. So you might find something there. But I think really, in all honesty,
it's difficult because we got no stats to work with Llamas. We're sort of guessing at what he can do at this level on this surface, and we don't really know what sort of Holger Rune is going to turn up. He's not been great lately, has he?
No, it would be an absolute swerve for me. I wouldn't watch it at all. I would maybe look at in running and see how Llamas plays, and maybe. But yeah, Holger Rune is the favourite.
I'm just not really that interested in betting on it. I mean, it's a difficult one to find any real value with such a lot of guesswork involved.
Yep, exactly. So there is a lean there. Holger Rune under 12.5. Total games is minus 112. So effectively wanting to win in straight sets and win in 6 games rather than going into a tiebreak or a 7-5 set. So that will be a lean for us, but it's a tentative lean. It's something that we wouldn't really want to be too heavy about. The next match is
that's fair to say it's tentative.
Yeah, the next match is really interesting to us because it's our 12. This obviously I said earlier, it's 6:30 a.m. start tomorrow. The next match is a really interesting one. It's not only an interesting one because we have our future playing, but it's also interesting in terms of the betting as well. We have Arthur Cazaux, our pick to win the tournament, 12-1. It was so impressive, as we said. In his first round match, he's up against Felix Auger-Aliassime, who's in terrible form. He's on a little bit of a comeback trail. He got beaten by Medvedev in the Australian Open in round 3. Cazaux obviously beat Holger Rune. He's a local lad, as we've said, as we've alluded to. He's 12-1, and we want to bet him for that reason. He's a favourite here, minus 125. Now, you would never have thought he'd been favourite here prior to the Australian Open. Felix Auger-Aliassime is even money. The spread is minus 1.5. It's plus 102 for Cazaux, and it's minus 130 for Felix, who receives the 1.5 start. 22.5 is the total. and -127 is the over, and 28 different other markets available on the Bet Rivers website. Arthur Cazaux,
Mm.
we've got him at 12-1. He's been really impressive in the well, at the beginning of 2024. Was brilliant at the Australian Open. Extremely impressive in round one here against Martier. Um,
Mm.
how good is this kid, and how far can he go on what you've seen so far, Sean?
I think he's very good. He's really starting to show what he's about now. He's had a lot of injuries. Well, certainly a share of injuries in his young career so far. It looks like he's really starting to break through now. If you got 12s, 14s, or even 16s about Cazaux to win this tournament at the start, that's looking very decent now. He's down to about 7-1, isn't he, after one match? And he's
Have we got a little bit carried away? Because can I just ask? I just want to ask you that question there, because the reason I asked that question is because we did the podcast on Sunday where we tipped Cazaux to win this tournament, and every single handicapper I've seen, the tennis handicapper, I'm not saying they followed us, or I'm not saying they've done anything like that, but every single one of us has tipped this guy, and
okay.
but I don't like that.
No, I don't like that. I didn't know that, to be honest. Now you got me worried.
Well, I've seen about 5 or 6 people actually tip this guy to win the tournament. And I think when other handicappers and everybody's singing off the same hymn sheet, I'd rather be against the tide. And that's what's worrying me a little bit
I'm
about
not keen on that either. No, I wish you hadn't said that, to be honest, because I'm now.
Well, we'll delete that bit from the show. We'll delete
I'm now worried.
Well, I mean, I
don't
just think,
like it either, particularly individual bets.
yeah,
Probably more so on individual bets. If I've seen something at maybe 11-10 or something like that, and everybody that is on it, that worries me. Exactly the
yeah,
same as you. I just think, well, maybe that's too obvious. I don't know. I think it's clear that if you did get those decent double figure prices, that you have got a value bet on your hands. I think as I said, he's down to 7-1 after one match. So that's really all we can do. The rest is up to him. It's kind of obvious in the sense that he's from Montpellier. He started out so well at the Australian Open, showed a really good level and a level head as well. He didn't look like he was going to be nervy. We'll see as the week goes on if he does sort of get nervy in his hometown. But what he's produced so far, you can't argue with it. Is in the 5 matches that he's played so far. I know it's a very small sample size, a small snapshot of his career, if you like, but a service points won and return points won total of 107, and a service hold and break total of 118 is it makes you sit up and take notice, particularly the latter stat. I know it's only 5 matches. It remains to be seen whether he can carry on at that level, but he's played good opposition in those matches as well. 94% holds of serve, 83% first serve points won. It's very, very strong serving. That's why I went for the over games against a similarly strong server in Martiro, who unfortunately had a shocker for the first set, for most of the match actually, but certainly the first set. And it's a similar bet is perhaps worthy again here, because he's playing Felix, whose best tennis by a long, long way does come on indoor hard. Not sure why, whether it's just taking the elements out of the equation. Maybe he just doesn't like playing in the wind or whatever, prefers the indoor conditions. In his last 10 matches on indoor hards, Felix, 8-2 win-loss, service points won, return points won total of 109, which is very good, and 109 also in his service hold and break total. 88% holds of serve, 80% first serve points won. So once again, we've got 2 very strong servers coming up against each other. And given how strong those stats are, again, I quite like the over 10.5. The price of you're getting more than plus 200, plus 205. I think you're getting with Bet Rivers about it going over 10.5. That's where I'm looking at here. The conditions are not wild about them, but I think with the way that these two play, the way that these two serve, that they can certainly represent some value.
And there's some value there. First set overs for Sean, 28 different markets, again, available on the Bet Rivers website. And if you do place a bet, you'll be able to bet live and watch live on the website on your preferred tablet or your laptop or whichever device you want to use. Sean, just one other thing. A lot of people are new to this channel in the last few weeks, the last few months, especially since the start of the year. And I've had the same question asked about me. When you talk about your ratings, 107, 118 service points, could you give a little bit of an explanation again? I know that you've explained it before, but there's a lot of people here who are new to the channel who have actually asked me about what does Sean mean by that. If you can just give a little bit of explanation of what that actually means.
Yeah, so on the Cazaux one, for example, when I said he has a service points won and return points won total at 107, in a certain time frame. It's just the percentage of points on serve and on return added together that he's won during that time frame. I think Cazaux's on about 70% service points won, and you add together the amount of points he's won on return, which is, I think in this case, like 37, and that gives you the total. And it's just a snapshot of how many points they're winning and where they're winning them in the period of time that I'm talking about. Sometimes it goes back a lot longer. Well, most times it goes back a lot longer than 5 matches, but it normally goes back over a year or a couple of years. But we don't have that with Cazaux. But it's just a percentage, really. 107% is I suppose technically what I should say.
And is that one of your is that your main go-to thing when handicapping these matches? Look at is that the first thing you look at before you look at, you obviously look at the odds and then you look at that. Is it, how does it, is in your framing of looking at value?
It's that, and the service break and hold total is also interesting, slightly less so because you can have an anomaly where a guy saved like 80-90% of the break points against him, and you wouldn't expect that to carry on. So it's generally quite a true reflection of how well a player is performing. You can also use it in the head-to-heads as well, and I do use it in the head-to-heads. It shows you how a career series has panned out, who's had the better of it, who's won more points on serve, who's been more effective on the return. It just gives you an idea of the level of a player at the time that you're looking at.
More insights from the best handicapper in the world, as far as I'm concerned, Sean Calvert on tennis. Sean Handicap, I like that name. Handicap.
Let's make that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, the t-shirts are coming. Don't worry. If you want to know about the t-shirts will be on their way very soon, and I've been working on them all week.
As a postal strike round here, it's
I will drive them over and drop them at your doors and make sure you wear them. Don't worry about that. The final match we're going to talk about is Denis Shapovalov against Alexander Bublik. Very similar to Felix Auger-Aliassime. Denis Shapovalov has dropped off the radar at the moment. A player that everyone was talking about as potential a major winner or
Shevchenko, isn't it?
It's Chapo. Which one are we looking at? Oh, sorry. I thought we were talking about Bublik game.
No, that's not tonight.
My mistake. Well, that match there, I haven't got the odds in front of me. That's why. So I'm looking at the Bet Rivers website, and I look at it. I thought it was Shapovalov, so let's write it down. So
that's on tonight.
We've got Shevchenko against
Gregoire Barrere.
Well, it's all over to you, Sean, because I have absolutely no odds on that match in front of me. So
it's because the Barrere match, the Shevchenko match has only just finished today. And up until about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, we only had 2 matches set. Once Shevchenko had won his match against Savchina, he then slotted into the draw against Barrere. That's why there may not be full odds up. I imagine they're coming through. There should be some around.
We're coming through. But at this moment of time, I'm completely cold. So let me have a little. So Shevchenko against Barrere, how would you bet? I would. Have you seen odds?
I saw some odds earlier on. I can just
Shevchenko minus $2.
Let me just have a look. The odds are moving here, actually. Hang on. It's roughly 1.73, 2.1, some round about that sort of mark. And you can convert that into American if you like.
So Barrere is the favourite or Shevchenko is the favourite?
Shevchenko is the favourite.
Right, okay.
But he should be. Hang on a minute. Is this the wrong way around? Just hang on a second, Matt. I think this is...
Well, no, actually, let me tell you something. There's no odds on this match. So this is raw. So we're sitting here with no odds. This is quite interesting sort of development of the show here. We have no odds here. And I've seen another rival bookmaker come up with some odds, and they're making Barrere the favourite.
I think these have been published the wrong way around. I'm not...
I think they're right. I think they're right. Shevchenko is the underdog here. I thought Shevchenko would be around about minus, I don't know, 170, 160, something like that. He's the underdog. So clearly here, Shevchenko's the bet.
Right. Okay. I was looking at it from the other way around. I mean, the first odds that I saw had Shevchenko as around roughly the price that you suggested. At which point I was thinking about going on to Barrere, but now that Barrere's favourite, I'm not sure about that. We can talk about this match in the sense that Shevchenko, he certainly wasn't very good today against anyone that saw his match against Savchina. It was a bad-tempered display. He's not been playing well the last 3 matches. That's the problem that he's had. He wasn't happy about the line calls because he was playing on the smaller court, which doesn't have the Hawkeye replay, whatever you want to call it, the instant replay of the points. So there was a lot of questionable, or in his mind, questionable line calls. He stopped playing at one point and said, "I'm not playing anymore until the supervisor comes out," because he wanted one of the line judges removed. Um, Both players got warnings for racket abuse. There was all sorts going on. He had to do it the hard way, Shevchenko. He was just setting a break up and about 1-25 in play at one stage. Then he had to come back from a 4-2 down in the decider. Um, so not good form. And that's why when I first saw the odds, they've obviously been corrected very quickly, or they were put up the wrong way around, one of the two. Because I was interested in Barrere as the underdog here. The reason being, if we go back to what I was talking about with the stats, Shevchenko's stats on indoor hard at main level in the last 12 months, not quite as good as Barrere's. That's why I was interested in backing Barrere as underdog. Service points won and return points won total of 101. Service hold and break total of 105. 86% holds of serve. Now, if we compare that with Barrere, Barrere's better. 103 total on service points won and return points won. And his service hold and break total is 107, which is 2 points better. And 88% holds of serve. Now, if we're now saying that Barrere is favourite, then that's about right, isn't it?
Well, this is a bit strange for me at the moment because obviously we look at the Bet Rivers website and we haven't got the odds on it. We're talking about a match. This is the complications we're having today, trying to find prices and odds. Now, the opening line for Shevchenko with some books was -$2.
That's what I mean. That's what I saw.
And now he's plus 110.
Yeah, that's what's confused me because I saw round about that, and I haven't looked at the line since until now. But that's a massive correction, isn't it? Now, you know a lot more about making the odds than I do. So how do you think that?
Well, I think someone's gone up with a line of minus. Like I initially thought it'd be about -185 Shevchenko. Someone's gone up with that line. They've seen early money for it, and they've panicked. And they've taken the line down, and all of a sudden they're waiting for the market to reform. Someone else has gone up with a line at plus 110 for Shevchenko. I think the match will probably start around about pick 'em match. It'll be about -110 each. But if that was money that moved that, then I would be very wary of the match. That would be you know, we're talking about a price that's gone live an hour ago, that someone was -$2 and now they're plus 110. I would be quite wary of that. My first reaction here straight away was -$2.
Which is what it initially was. That's why I went. That's why I've written down here that I like Barrere at the odds. But now that he's favourite, I don't like him so much.
Yeah, and you know, I would be slightly wary of it. I'll wait for the market to form. We'll wait to see what Bet Rivers come up with, and you know, they'll see the odds on that. But I thought we were talking about I wrote down the Shevchenko game because I had the Shevchenko match on the screen there. So, sorry, not the Shevchenko game, the Shapovalov game.
Yeah, so that's on tonight.
I would be slightly wary till the market formed. But, you know, if you wanted to bet Barrere, what price would you bet Barrere at here?
Well, I liked the first price I saw was about 2.4,
right,
which I thought was good value. And now it's obviously no value at all. I would probably bet Barrere. You're probably not going to get it now, but I'd probably bet him about 2.2, something like that, plus 120. Okay. I doubt you'll get that now. But
what price would you bet Shevchenko at?
After watching him today, I don't know. I'd have to think about it. He's not. I don't know what's up with him at the minute. He's not the player that we saw at the end of last season and right at the start of this season. Ever since he lost that bad one to Echeverry, he's gone off. I don't know if it's something to do with the switch to Kazakhstan or something's gone on there that's made him do that. I don't know, but he doesn't look like he's in anything like the form he was in the end of last year.
Well, from the early flurries of the betting here, this would be a match that I would probably just watch and have a little look at and see how the market reforms it, because there has been a big swing. You know, someone goes from -$2 to plus 110. There is obviously something behind that move.
Or it was just an error in the first place, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know if it's an error. I'm not sure. I mean, you'd actually sing money. But anyway, we'll wait and see how the market lies. If you want to have a place, there's no odds available at Bet Rivers yet, but Shevchenko Barrere is the final match we're talking about for tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. Eastern time. Remember to follow us on our socials at becausewewin on Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe to Betting Weekly Studios on YouTube and download our podcasts. It's Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. We want to get out the podcast charts, and with your help, we can do so. Not the greatest of tennis this week, Sean, is it really? So this is our final episode of the week, and you know, we just keep your money cautious in these events here. You know, you want to be a little bit careful with some of these big moves, don't you? Really.
Yeah, I mean, this could still end up being a very good week for us if Cazaux carries on the form that
Yep.
he's shown. I think that's probably going to be my main interest between now and the end of the week. As I said at the start of the week, I think if he beats Felix, um, this draw is absolutely wide open, isn't it? He'd have the
Yeah.
winner of Benoit pair against Mayotte, which you would certainly expect him to win. Um, and then later on down the line, you're looking at possibly Bublik, possibly Shapovalov, possibly Barrere, Shevchenko, one of those guys. I think there's reasons to be hopeful for Cazaux. I think it's probably what my advice would be: watch and join along with the Cazaux journey.
Yep. Cazaux all the way. Let's hopefully cash tickets on him, and we come back next week with a 12-1 winner. Where are we next week? We're in Dallas, aren't we?
We're all over the place next week. It goes back to 3 tournaments a week.
Oh, this is more like it.
Dallas, Marseille, and I think Cordoba. I can't really see from here. It's
Oh,
certainly 3 tournaments. I think it's definitely Dallas. I think Marseille and Cordoba. The
yeah.
start of the Golden Swing in South America on the clay.
Hopefully we'll get some much more picks as well on that, and also we're going to be a little bit more busy, much more betting activity rather than just the one tournament, which we're obviously time dependent on as well. Anyway, Sean, thanks very much for your time. Have a good
Cool.
day. Good luck with your bets if you are placing a wager, and remember, please subscribe, give us a comment as well. Any questions you have, we'll always answer them as well. So have a good day, and we'll see you again next week on Sunday when we look at those 3 tournaments. The outright market will be a bumper show on Sunday, so please subscribe and make sure you tell your friends as well. All the best. Take care.